And we're live, ladies and gentlemen, yes indeed. Welcome to Area 52. This is the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. This is Mike Murburg. And welcome to the show. imho, in my humble opinion, .love. Because love is what it's all about. It was the beginning, it will be the end. And here we are. Well, welcome, folks. It's the 22nd of September in the Gregorian year of 2021. And time tumbles on. So welcome, everybody. Thank you for watching, tuning in, sharing, downloading, streaming. Whatever you do with this is fine. It's public domain. They're just words, and we only use them, then we put them right back. So, ready to go. How you doing, Mike?
I'm good, but the thought just crossed my mind.
What's that?
Across my mind that time is a blur, just like an electron.
Time is a blur, just like an electron. Yes, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Time does definitely have. There's some blurs back there.
You know
what I mean?
And think about now with your age.
Yeah.
You can't go back in your mind. Most people can't to when they were at 40 and remember what it was like at 40.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a vague memory at best.
Yeah, and you only remember the highlights.
Right.
So the highlights and the lowlights.
Well, wouldn't it be nice to go out and go back and visit yourself when you were 40?
Oh. Yeah.
It's possible.
Yeah.
Well, you remember Derek? Derek had that history where, as a child growing up, he saw somebody and he didn't know who it was. And he said he was from the future.
Yes.
And then when he gets to that certain age, he actually goes back in the past to meet himself again to tell him that he's from the future.
Really? Did it happen for him?
Yeah.
It happened for Derek?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So you know.
It's a great story.
Well, if true, and I have no reason to doubt him, he's a solid guy.
I'm not casting any dispersions, Derek.
No, but the thing is even the math works out. So.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah, it does.
So this guy, this stranger that he met long ago,
yeah,
told him at this particular age,
right,
he was going to progress back.
No, he's from the future.
Oh.
He visited himself.
Oh.
And said, "I'm from the future," and he didn't know that
it was
that
him
guy,
from the future,
and he didn't know who that guy was until he got to be that age and met himself as a 4-year-old.
Wow.
Yeah, this fucking reality's trippy, isn't it?
Like Robin Williams said, reality, what a concept.
People, join the group. Get past your levels of attachment to things and evolve. And then great shit happens.
Man, I'm just. It's really funny that, well, especially if you think back of the concepts of what you were envisioning for yourself back when you were 40, and for Mike and I, that's both been 20 plus years.
Yeah.
And I always kind of pictured the same thing all along, and I guess that's what I manifested was a simple, peaceful, debt-free existence.
Yeah. Well, I manifested this place when I was 12 years old.
That's why it's stuck.
Right. That's why it's here.
And buddy, I am so blessed. And for those of you looking on the Facebook page, I took that picture of the sunset going down in between the trees. That's right at Area 52, where we do the CE5s and the HICEs. For those of you tuning in for the first time, a CE5 is Close Encounters of the Fifth Kind, and a HICE is a Human-Initiated Contact Experience. And once a month, when there's no moon, we gather as a group. There's anywhere from 25 to 40 of us. We go out here.
This month's going to be 50.
50.
Yeah, we had to close the. We've already had to close the
registration
for it. Yeah, and we've got 448 in the group at this point.
448 members.
Yeah, up from like 325 like 4 months ago.
Well, yeah, and we were like at 80 like 2 years ago.
Right, it was crazy. And 4.5 years ago we were 3.
Well, right.
So if that's not evidence of a spiritual awakening, I don't know what is.
It is, and well, And you know what? We don't do any advertising. We don't. I mean, other than like our Facebook page or
Oh
the
yeah,
link.
we're happy to fly under the radar out here. It's the only place where shit gets done. You know?
Yeah. So and folks, this show is about as organic as it gets. It's not monetized. We don't edit it.
It's fertilized with cattle by the name of Yin and Yang.
Yin and Yang,
Right.
financed by Yin and Yang.
Right. You know what's funny about that though is that
There are backers.
yeah, is it when the cattle got named, Yin, the white one, is totally the lipstick dyke of that duo, and then the black one, Yang, is definitely definitely the bull dyke,
Oh, okay, wow.
yeah. But the thing is that the white energy is supposed to be Yang.
Right.
And the black energy is supposed to be Yin. It's supposed to be the weaker energy. So
Right.
the cows are misnamed.
Or not. Or not.
Well, if you look at life as a riddle that needs to be
Sure.
unrolled,
Well, but I have met some incredibly wonderful women, powerful women outside of their, outside of normal parameters. Like when you meet somebody and then they just have like there's a lot more to them than you think.
right? Yeah, you find out they're like paranormal. So life gets interesting.
Yes, exactly.
Ow!
Wait a minute. There's a doll somewhere. Ow! Anyway.
I got a couple of them around here somewhere. They really do. They still got the pins in them.
Whoever's got the voodoo doll of me, can you scratch my balls?
I'm looking for it. Need to return it.
Yeah. Anyway, well, you know what though, Mike, and we talked that way 40 years ago or 20 years ago, back when we were whatever, and you look back and we. But I know you were, and I was as well. I've been on a spiritual path the whole time. I mean, every day, and especially it got turned up when I was 31 years old, and I had received the beautiful Christ consciousness and the gift of the Holy Spirit and the gift of healing, all that in that February of '91, and that has evolved into here we are now, and I couldn't be happier about it. It's all very, very good. But those days there were confusing days then as well, and now there are confusing days too. And sometimes I get up in the morning and I write some poetry. I shared this with my friends, but I'm going to read it on the air now. All right, it's called Those Scrambled Days with Your Coat Buttoned Wrong. Lots of days gone by, a shirt stained from goo pie, standing in a line for who knows why. The TV overhead with splashes of malice. Oh no, the bad guys are storming the palace. The kings sip red juice from their bejeweled chalice. We stand here wondering what could have gone wrong. The satellites send us those same 100 songs. Wrap up your hands nice using those buffet tongs. Watch the birdie over here, not over there. You can still have a limo and your orange hair. You can wear your charity t-shirt telling others that you care. Two dogs a fucking, tell me that old joke. Legal weed on every corner, bellow out that smoke. Super potent these days, makes you cough, makes you choke. We long for a chill, wrapped in a fresh breeze. We turn our heads sideways when we hear someone sneeze. Christ almighty, don't let me catch that disease. We're confused as a limb rat out there in the street. Our minds are distorted by signals and the food that we eat. Boast your salacious opinion so long as it's discreet. The media brought us all this zip and delusion, fearing the shadowy grip of the final solution. Maybe rock and roll is noise pollution. We've heard it all 1,000 times, bent up bullshit so long as it rhymes. That's okay, we ignore those crimes. Each of us hoping for a mellow existence, the fact checkers checking our level of resistance. the soft grit grinder spinning every day with persistence. Down here in the low vibes, we trudge through this mud, and bodies hit the floor with a resounding thud. News cameras reeling, showing spots of blood. Each of us baffled, each a little miffed. All those flag-draped caskets laid out stiff. I know you more than you do, if you catch my drift. We stand in a collective, from genius to rube, getting our orders and opinions from a flattened-out tube. 5-minute oil changes and banana butt lube. We're dazed and confused like they told us long ago. So long as we pay admission to this dog and pony show, they will keep pumping the slime till all our minds blow. Rise above this cacophony of drizzle and pain. Stand up with arms outstretched, feeling the fresh rain. Who needs this everything bagel? I'll just take mine plain. With compassion in our hearts and love in our souls, life was certainly simpler when we needed telephone poles. Before your hard drive spilled your secrets to all the tattling moles. Let us hold each other loosely and let your grip be strong. Let your kisses be ever sweeter and your hugs last long. We're all just scrambled little children with our coats buttoned wrong. The end. I wrote that back on the 19th. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, please. No, yeah, I have copies. Anyway, thank you, folks, for indulging me. Do love to write and have a bit of a muse these days, which is excellent. And my motivation of coming out to the ranch is really kind of moving me forward. And this lovely influence I have just lights up my...
No.
Gets the word flowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what
a muse is for.
That's what Sacred Space is for.
That's yes, indeed.
Yeah,
in fact, have you ever seen that movie, The Muse, with
No.
Albert Brooks? It's an Albert Brooks film.
Yeah.
It's really good. Sharon Stone plays the Muse, and it's a very, very good movie.
That should be a pretty good muse to have hanging around.
Yeah, she's musey enough.
Yeah, definitely a muse.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know the thing about muses, though?
What's the thing about muses, Mike?
You can never sleep with one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. So there goes the magic. But you know, muses are there for muses. Muse. What's the plural of muse? Muses. Mies.
Yeah.
Muses.
Musi.
They'd be there for a reason. So you know,
There's a U in it. Yeah, absolutely. And you know, I've also experienced like negative muses in my life. People that were negative muses.
They would make them a muses.
A musel. They were a musel. Is what they were.
Oh man.
No, but people that were like irking you or tugging on your spirit.
Yeah.
They also can draw words.
Yeah. But what's the real name for them though? It's like, you know,
pains in the asses.
Yeah, something like that.
Well,
like,
yeah. Well, I'll give them a little muse credit. I mean, they were artful at their badgering.
Yeah, and you know when if they got you mad enough, you'd write something good. But you know that took work, and that's not necessarily a good place to go. So
well, I many years ago I had several angst-ridden poems and writings, and as I became more and more awake, I found that a majority of those words were based in fear. And I don't want to be based in fear, nor do I really want to repeat. I don't want to drudge up those feelings again, And
fear is ego, and anything that deals with ego is not necessarily a sweet memory.
Yeah, that's true. This ego thing, it's the flakiest of all things I've ever encountered. The whole ego process, the self-defining of who you are and why you are and what you are.
Yeah, it's like I saw a post this a couple days ago. Satan as the ego,
Yes?
and then Nirvana is the non-ego.
Right.
It's like
Creator is the love.
Yeah, what a choice. Yeah, the logos. Sure. Yeah,
It makes sense.
that's something else too. Have you seen the new Wilcox thing going on? He's been.
I haven't had a chance to see it.
Yeah, well,
a couple people sent it to me.
Yeah, he's really
Thank
pumping
you.
it pretty hard, and
He got what?
he's pumping it pretty hard.
Okay.
You know?
Well, I know he got whacked in the head a couple months ago.
Well, it must have been on a motorcycle because he's not making some sense.
Uh-oh. You see the size of that cricket?
But what he gets to though is that he does Ra the Loved One, and then he gets to describing Jesus, and he misses the point that Jesus was a representative of the Logos.
Yes.
It's the Logos, but he's selling Jesus still.
Okay.
So he's still selling the middleman,
Well, there must be a. That's funny. This is the second time today I've had this conversation.
Yeah, it was a Logos jam otherwise.
Speaking of that, I'm going to just track for a second here. Yeah. Logo, which we have come to know, Sweet Suzette has got a nice logo I'm working on with my son. But anyway, there's symbols, all these things that symbolize things. Like what something is by a symbol, a cross or a Star of David or even a traffic sign. Somebody like this means they're about to walk the street. It's all these symbols, all these logos, and of course, the Coca-Cola script and rainbow and all that stuff that that you identify with. That smirk for Amazon that kind of looks like Peyronie's disease.
Yeah, like somebody's been beating off his wiener with his right hand for too long.
Amazon, we treat Peyronie's.
That's right.
Anyway, but the logo, okay.
It's like fuck you. The wiener is our trademark.
We carry on the phallic thing. It's what materialism.
Right.
You're more of a man if you have more shit.
Yeah.
And buy that shit from us.
And let us deliver it for free.
But this is kind of trippy to me. It's kind of like when you see something go from light to dark and light to dark. Every time I see this thing, there's a Christian church out on a rural road, and it's a beautiful place, and they have a giant white cross on the property. It's huge. It's 50 feet by 100 feet. It's big, okay? And it's made of some kind of aluminum shielding. And the weird thing about it is it's also a transmitter tower.
Yeah.
And they just installed the new high dosage scary stuff in this tower. So the irony is it's beaming out all this questionable energy because they too did not test this stuff.
Right.
It's the microwaves and all that stuff, and of course all the naysayers and the science sniffers are going to go, it's fine, don't worry about it. Right?
It's like a plot out of Zardoz.
It is. But here's the irony or the dichotomy of the thing is here's people gathering in this place to reach out and associate with their higher self, but yet the owners of the property that have this have decided to take the chances with all these people's systems, because a lot of people react harshly to that stuff. They get very sick.
Well, maybe they made enough money on it so they could build the church into a Faraday cage.
The only Faraday caged equipped congregation in the county. Oh my God, that's so funny.
Takes a special
But it does. But probably the most, and I forgive me of being a bad student here or a bad lecturer. And I didn't pull the reference, but I believe it's in the book of James. It probably shows up in Revelations as well. They say that Hashatan, okay, is the ruler of the kingdom of the air. That's what, when you talk about the end times, they say that's where the true poison is going to come in. That's through the ruler of the kingdom of the air. And here is this giant crooks, okay, transmitting this perhaps dangerous signal, while the little sheep congregate down below, and then helping broadcast the poison energy.
Well, the cross subconsciously is always broadcast the negative energy, the poisoning energy.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, you got to put, I was raised Catholic, so Jesus is always on the cross. I mean, the Protestants,
right,
they just put the symbol up, they got rid of Jesus.
Give that guy a break.
But still, it's still the symbol of, this is a Roman cross.
Right.
This is the military, this is the empire speaking, and we put this guy on the cross because he pissed us off.
Yeah.
And that's a subliminal symbol. Obey the state and obey the church, and it's all wrapped up into the one thing, which makes it so perverse.
You're very right. In fact, you're spot on. And I've said, if you've known me a long time, you may have even heard me say this on some of my previous broadcasts. The creator of the universe doesn't need a logo. The creator of the universe doesn't need an 800 number or a website or anything. You minimize the grandiosity of the creator when you assign him a logoed association. It's so much bigger than that. I mean, good shot, mankind. Thanks for taking a couple of free throws, but you missed air balls, all three. Okay. The creator of the universe is this constant life force that never surrenders, that's constantly present in your mind, in your heart, in your hands, in your activities, flying through the air, flying through every one of us, growing trees, birthing dolphins, making kangaroos jump. It's this life force that is everything. And to minimize it down to a club, well, we have this book, and this is our club, so if you join our club, I'm not saying there aren't mysteries of the universe. There are many. And many seekers, all of their lives, dedicated their lives to finding these secrets. And I respect every one of them. Anybody that exerts an effort like that, finding the depth of their soul, man, oh man, I love you. Thanks for trying. And everybody kind of succeeds at their own level.
Yeah, it's not difficult. You just need to live life of simplicity, patience, and compassion, and make the ultimate truth of the reality of the Logos your search, and then you'll be okay. Everything else falls into place for that.
Amen.
Yep.
Amen. And just to, the history of the cross is really, the Phoenicians had it in 1200 BC. The Aztecs, well, no, that's not, the Etruscans had it in 400 BC. The Egyptians had it with the Maltese cross too, the surfer's cross or the biker's cross. That was an Egyptian cross from 2,000 years ago.
Yeah. But these things all get invented by artists who get bored. It's like,
yeah,
we got the line straight, so what do we do with it next? I was like, let's make a cross. It's like,
And the other thing too, I mean, the cross is always symbolized, like you said before, with the crucifixion, with the supposedly Messiah stretched out on the cross. And a cross was one of the torture racks that they executed people on. But there was also a straight up and down pole where they nailed you like this, okay, and you weren't outstretched like that. And if they wanted you to suffer, okay, they would leave you like this because it takes longer for you to die this way.
Right, and sometimes they put like a big old razor blade underneath you. I forget what that one was called.
Oh,
yeah. So as your arms give away, you end up like slicing yourself underneath.
Oh,
yeah. Catholics are really good at that stuff. So,
yeah,
I mean,
well, man,
that's why they had Catholic schools, so the nuns could give you the flavor of that historical experience.
that ruler with the steel edge.
Yeah.
That thing.
You know what's worse though is the maple pointer with the rubber end.
The maple pointer with the rubber end.
Go to the blackboard and they point to your times tables and number stuff. That was the most deadly. I mean, it has some reach. It's seldom talked about, but it's when you've had that torture, your hands will never be the same. It's true.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the real weapon of choice.
Yeah,
Suzette. Makes a 4-foot tall nun look like an 8-foot tall Godzilla.
Well, Suzette and I were talking the other night, and we're both just kind of amazed at how hostile humans can be with other humans.
Yeah.
I mean, and just to sit, and it's funny. There was one of the museums I went to in my travels, and part of their exhibit was medieval torture. They had an entire exhibit of medieval torture devices. And I skipped it. I didn't want to see it. I didn't want to, because everything is spirit. And when when the guy's speaking the words and he's telling you how the apparatus goes, you're recreating that in your mind. You're creating a source of fear that's completely unnecessary, and you're fantasizing in your brain about this horrible act of man upon man, and it ain't for me, dude. I can't. I don't watch horror movies. I don't watch scary movies. Back in Jesus school, they used to tell us garbage in, garbage out, and the more you look at and the more you hear, and I think as I get older or more empathic, whatever that is, there's just stuff that I walk into it and I go, I'm done. I just turn right around. I mean, I can't do it anymore. I walked into a record shop. I love record shopping. And hey, the vinyl collection's here. Here at the studio, folks. The Lou Angelwolf vinyl collection is here.
Yeah, this is real impressed Rosie Pescarilla with that one.
Rosie Pescarilla.
She's into vinyl.
She into vinyl? That's a pretty vague pull, bro.
She couldn't afford leather. She doesn't mind the sweat.
Are you talking about Pinky Tuscadero?
No, it's her sister.
But all that negative energy, see, that's what creates, hey, I'm aware of it, okay? I'm aware of it. Okay, I know that happened, okay? But to dwell on it or to amplify it or to even glorify it, okay, that's moving things in the wrong direction. We struggle and we surmise in our minds and we concentrate and we meditate and we try to go to good, happy places in our brain. But when you fill your head full of those images and they go, oh, lewd or fake, it's all makeup. Okay, but it's very realistic makeup. It looks as horrible as it looks. So, and I'm sure they've studied something, figured it out somehow. I don't even want to think about how they figured it out. But I know people have seen other people be hurt and tortured and shit like that. So I'm sure that's where it came from. But what the third rail is here is Mike and I are trying to share with you that all of this stuff, this cacophony of horseshit that we're seeing on the blinking screens, that we hear through the airwaves, that constantly gets pimped to us on our cell phones. It is all an illusion. It's all a room full of smoke, because
it's all going to go away.
it is all going to go away. It is all going, and there's one thing that's permanent, and that is the life force, the spirit.
It's your immortal soul. It's invigorated by spirit.
Your immortal soul
It's invigorated by spirit.
is invigorated by spirit. Okay,
Yep.
I like that.
Yeah. That's kind
So, and part of your permanence, okay, to me, I mean, if you're one of the people that really enjoy, watching people struggle, and that's your thing, and you like hurt and pain and anger, and you like all that stuff, hey, I know you have compadres. I don't have a lot of time for you, but I do hope you analyze what you're doing with your time, your elegant time. So what we're trying to say is, if this stuff does seem like an illusion to you, if this does seem like, how can all this be so real? You're right. You're on the right path. It's very facadical. I'm not saying that these things don't happen in real life, but then again, we've also got the giant question of real life. So if you're free in your mind, it doesn't really matter what else is going on. Through prayer and meditation and isolation and understanding and dismissing and rationalizing and accepting and forgiving, you'll find this beautiful place in the subtle realm where you are part of everything, yet your own beautiful strand of it. And that's what I'm looking for. That's what so many people that meet with us in the CE5 group are looking for, is those kind of people that we want to communicate on a soul-to-soul level. I don't care what you're driving. I don't care where you live. I don't care how much your running suit costs. In fact, the more you paid, the sillier I think you are.
Just think about that whole running thing. Anyway, what are you running from? What are you running towards? I mean, walking's not good enough. You're all going to end up in the same place anyway.
Well,
screw running.
Well, we Angelwolves were slow breeders, and I got some nephews and stuff in their 20s. And the one nephew paid $400 for a pair of Gucci flip-flops.
Yeah, they're freaking goofy flip-flops. $400 for a pair of Zoris? Holy Christ.
They're these rubber flip that they literally, and they got this Gucci thing on them.
Yeah, I know.
And they were $400.
Yeah, wait till he finds out they're knockoffs.
Right, well, that's the big thing. And, and I know girls like pretty purses, and that's all cool and everything, but really, half of those are fake as well.
Yeah,
at least half.
You know, girls like even more than pretty purses.
What's that?
Money. It's like, money. Everybody loves money.
Keep the purse. I'll take it.
It's like, really, I can get my own purse. Hey, a couple of funny questions here.
Okay.
The problem with humankind is that it lacks human kindness.
The problem with humankind is that it lacks human kindness.
Right.
That was cool. That was off camera. You couldn't see that, folks.
That was that mind-body whole thing. And then it came up, when I say soul, it means consciousness, okay? You can use, when you use the word ego, it doesn't necessarily mean Freudian ego. It's the more extensive term in whatever genre it's used. And the last one was, Italian surnames, One of the funniest experiences of my early childhood was my town was right next to another town, and a lot of Italians lived in that town. A lot of Italians lived in my town. So this gal across my street invited her friend over, and she was from the next town over, which was Northvale.
Okay.
So it's and she goes, I say, well, what's your name? And she goes, my name is Patty Figlioro, but my friends call me Fatty Piglioro. You can just call me Fatty.
Oh, no.
God's honest.
Her name was Patty Figliori, but all of her friends call her Fatty Pigliori?
Figlioro.
Oh.
Wherever you are, Patty, I hope you're doing okay.
Was she heavy girl?
No, but the
Because that psychologically that could make you go, screw it, I'm having a Twinkie.
but the friend who introduced me, her father had been a German POW in an American camp, and they ran the nursery across the street, and her name was they were from Alsace-Lorraine. Her last name was Large, which was pronounced Large.
Large.
Okay, yeah. Her name was Carmen Large, and unlike Fatty Piglioro, who ended up skinny
poor
at
kid.
the end of life or later on in life.
Well, you could have the opposite too. Yeah.
Well, you had Carmen Large, Large.
Oh,
and
Carmen Large.
and guess who's the size 20 and guess who's the size 6.
Right.
So,
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, the universe is funny, but it's ironic, and it really will play tricks on you.
It is.
So,
It is. Yeah. Wow.
my name is Carmen Large, and my best friend is called Fat Pig. It could be a children's book series.
It's so sad. My God.
Well, life goes on,
Well, but it also, it does develop a bulletproof sense of humor.
Yeah, and apparently her dad wasn't bulletproof because he took one in the leg and lived with a horrible limp for the rest of his life.
Oh.
That's how he got captured. Life is rough sometimes.
It is. Oh man. Yeah.
We're living in the good time. Don't make life any rougher than it already is.
Yeah. And in that, two things. Well, while we're on the name, I work with a guy. I wholesale, trucks and vans and stuff during the day, and do stand-up comedy and the imho.love show. At night.
And wear a cape.
And I wear a cape, and I rescue kittens from burning buildings. Billy Wiener, the guy I work with. That's really, in fact, he said a friend of his paged him at a bar one night, and they wouldn't page him because they thought he was pulling a Bart Simpson.
It's like, really?
Yeah.
It's like, my name is Billy Wiener, but my friends will call me Willie Peter. Hola, senor.
Dude, he's got a whole litany of all of them.
Oh, yeah. It's tough for him to get out of a room alive.
Yeah, he's... but it does sound more efficient when he says I'm William Wiener. Well, anyway, imho.love people, keep William Wiener in your prayers. He's having some trouble with his ticker.
Oh, that's
so we ask for... And this is how I ask. I ask for a reuniting and a clarification of cell connection that's causing these misfires and causing these heart issues. So join with me and ask the Creator to reorganize this cellular malfunction that's happening right now. And because a cellular alignment will fix everything. That's why you're sick, or that's why you can't walk straight, or that's why you can't see. There's a break in your cellular alignment somewhere along the line. So we ask for restoration of the cells that need to make Billy's heart better. So there's that. And then while we're on the bottom of the page, and the dark news, I want to say goodbye to my Uncle Wayne Wells. He passed away about 4 days ago. He was 83 years old, a really, really good man. He was a retired lawman. You might Wayne Sergeant Wells from Dunedin.
No, I was up in Pasco where we were arresting horses and stealing cattle.
You were arresting horses. Let's say him. What do you say? Nay.
Yeah, Dunedin. My experience with Dunedin Police Department was all good, but so he was with a good unit. So
yeah,
I didn't know him though.
He was 83. He leaves behind his daughter Melanie. Everybody else is already. They already put on a pot of stew for him. That was there when he got there. So. Uncle Wayne, I love you. He was a good, solid dude, and I knew he was an honest man all of my life. And it was one of those guys that was good to have in your holster. It's like Uncle Wayne. And actually, I grew up in Dunedin, Florida, which was a very innocent place to grow up. But my uncle Wayne was on the police force, so if I was thinking of some capers or some sort of malfeasance, I went to Clearwater and made sure I didn't get caught in Dunedin.
Yeah.
So, Uncle Wayne, God rest your soul. Love you, man. And welcome back. Welcome back to the imho.love show. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. And here we are at Area 52 in beautiful Darby Ranch, Florida. This is where we have the CE5s. And we got a beautiful one coming up in a few weeks. The weather should be spectacular.
Coming up in October 2nd.
October 2. So
be there or be square.
Yeah. But every week we do a show, and it literally is, I could never find a church that believed the way I did. Okay, I wouldn't call it arrogant or egotistical. That's fine. Great people. Wouldn't say anything about the people, but there was doctrine and things involved and budgets and this and that. And I've been the associate pastor, and I rode with some really free guys in the biker community, and met some really, really cool fellas. And in fact, there's another one right there. There's notes I'm putting together for my book. So and Mike and I, when we get together, we talk about, big picture stuff. We talk about the universe and energy and transfer and love and peace and war and personal conflicts and desperations and celebrations, and we kind of cover a gamut. And Mike, I'd have to say probably for two guys, both of our conversations are probably like based 75% in emotion. How do you feel about that? You're a great historian, and I love the fact that you know so many historic documentations and facts. But then when you sit back and reflect on it, you go, the way that story went, that was just men trying to figure something out. And then after it came out, however it did, win, lose, draw, then somebody else wrote a story about how it came out. It's just perspective on top of perspective on top of perspective, and you literally, it's like playing telephone when you were a kid. You remember that? When the teacher gave the first student in the class a sentence to say and whisper it across the room till it made it all the way around?
Yeah.
Pretty much that's what we're dealing with now. To the victor goes the history and the retelling of it. So whatever is going on in all these various doctrines and organizations and people and places and things and steeples and chapels and whatever, if that's what brings you to the consciousness, bless every step. But just know there's always more. There's always a little more. And and in reality, with our monkey brains, we're only going to find out a thimble full anyway. But make your thimble full of monkey brain thought as gentle and kind and loving, because that's the one thing that is going to last forever, is the love and the innocence that you showed up with. When you were born here, you were nothing but love, man, and you were nothing but innocence. You had just come from the spirit realm, freshly reconsidered, freshly cleansed, and here you are to return in innocence in the beginning. And then, like I say all the time, then people start lying to you. And now you have to decipher another set of lies.
Well, that's why truth is of the utmost value in spirituality.
Say it again?
That's why truth is of the utmost value in spirituality. It's one of the highest levels of energy that there is. It's one of the high vibrations. It's a light energy with high vibration. Mm-hmm. So, and the thing is once you have attuned yourself to the life of truth, then you found the Tao, and then you're walking in the light of the Tao.
Amen.
And once you deviate, then you got to go through the whole progress again of, going through physicality and going through the, consequential exercise of the mind, which is also a product of the body, before you get to the spiritual again. So the fall is pretty expensive. So once you find the truth, you stay with the truth.
Yeah. Well, yeah. That makes sense. And even though we take the crazy Guggenheim course to the end, we wobble, we shake, we shimmy, we drop, we fall, we wander off, we stop, we turn around, we fall asleep at the switch. We do all those things because this is an exhausting journey. And you know what? You're alive. Your heart's been pumping since the moment you got here. Your brain's been firing. Your tongue's been wagging. Your eyes have been blinking. This is an incredible machine that we're sitting in here. This is an incredible...
it's a time machine. It's a biophysical miracle.
It really is, man. I'm just, and I'm grateful for everything. I have good health. I have good energy. I got tired today. I think that the chemicals from the planes, they totally crosshatched our area with the spray yesterday. It looked like a checkerboard up there. And today, man, I couldn't get out of second gear. So I don't know. So and see, there's so much to think about. There's so many aspects. There's so many things. And of course, science, as wonderful as it is, full of flaws, full of people that are bought off, full of materialism, full of propagation. Well, and really the very, very core of it is the is that the right word?
Propagation?
Yeah. Propagation of the material-driven world. The materialistic success story gets propagated every day, win, lose, or draw.
Yeah, and they don't want to see the prison that you're in, so you don't get out of it.
Yes.
So they keep you constantly entertained with it.
And and that blessing is, you look at all this stuff, you keep the best and you discard the rest, and then you wind up kind of okay most of the time. Love comes in, love goes out, pain comes in, pain goes out, promises are made, promises are broken, tears fall, laughter comes, whatever. But you try to kind of shed your heavy burdens. You say your I'm sorries, you ask for forgiveness, and you kind of move on as, less encumbered than the day before. And then and every once in a while you have these moments of clearing where you're going, this whole thing is a freaking sham. And you just, and all there is me and this tree right now. Me and this tree are the real deal. The energy that's growing this tree is growing me. The earth under my feet, it's planting me, it's grounding me. My magnets inside of me are all uniting with this wonderful magnet that we live on. And you just have those little organic feelings. You're walking along the beach, and especially with somebody that you love, and you just get that feeling where it just kind of, you're like, oh, this is such a wonderful wave of energy here. This is all so beautiful. The sun's setting over there. You hear the waves crashing over there. You hear a seagull crying over there. You see a dolphin spouting off in the water over there. Amazing times. And that's, of course, if you live in Florida, it makes all this shit easier.
Yeah, otherwise you're in Iowa watching the corn grow.
But you can watch the cows stand in the mud.
Hello to our fans in Iowa.
We got nothing against Iowa.
Love your corn, man.
Yeah, the organic, that GMO corn. Anyway, see, there's another variable. There's a really cool thing I watched. I was falling asleep last night, and I'd been to the hospital with Bill and just prayerful and kind of exhausting. Empaths work overtime. If you know one, pat them on the head every once in a while because
Give them their privacy.
give them their privacy, and they handle a lot of your bullshit, whether you know it or not, because they get it. It bounces off of you into them, and they understand you. And learning to communicate with your empathic friends is, that's probably why you and me get along so good. You know?
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. You know, I know, you know, and I know.
Yeah. Go with the flow.
We know. Did you want to share some Wahoo Ching this week?
Other than what I've spouted off tonight, it's funny that I just kind of finished editing chapter 61, 62. I'll be putting some more on. Goes through a final edit before I post it on Facebook. But I just decided, I was like, yeah, let's. I wonder who's in the community that's Taoist, or so I can maybe have another set of eyes on this, make sure I'm hitting it right.
Yeah.
And then I went out to Google Taoist groups in Tampa Bay area.
Yeah.
And there's a group.
Oh.
And there's 2 people.
Rock on.
2 people.
Of course.
It was like, you think it's like, wow, CE5ers are rare.
Yeah.
The guys who's
True Taoists are
right. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
wow.
we don't actually like to use the term Taoist. We like the followers of the way, because if you even though followers of the way is a description, it better it's a more unifying description than like a Buddhist, Taoist, Catholic. It's not a it doesn't lend itself to such blatant dualism.
Ah.
So but
that's cool.
Yeah.
How are we doing on time?
Yeah, we got 5-6 minutes left.
Okay.
But it's amazing how the Wahoo Ching progresses. It really gives you lessons, and if you read it, one lesson leads into another lesson. And as you get into like 50 chapter in the 50s is about energy. It starts introducing the whole idea of physical energy, sexual energy, what you need at the level of, it's called Tai Ching, and how it interrelates with the other 2 levels. And it's quite an interesting read at this point, but it also introduces the human being to the different types of energies, magnetic, heavy male. There's like 64 different categories. If you take it to the I Ching, and I won't go there. That's even more complicated.
That's a lot of categories.
Even ready to write on it. But what I'm doing is I'm writing a book that's kind of an introduction to understanding all this all. And then I've kind of modernized the language and the terms so that people can understand what they were talking about 2,500 years ago. Like when Lao Tzu refers to rays, rays and waves. Well, we have pulsars, pulses, different kind of energies that are neither particle nor ray. We've expanded our view of what he was talking about when he talks about rays. So you have to use those kind of words to describe it, because otherwise people are just thinking he's got a ray gun and that's what he's talking about.
Right.
So it's getting it's getting quite interesting. So you start at the physical level on the outside, and then you have the mental level on the inside. And these are the heavy energies out here. These are the dense energies. They get less heavy and less dense until you get to the spiritual energy, which is light energy. Both light and by way of heaviness, and light because it is an energy form. It is energy itself. It's
light in the middle.
Right. So
heavy on the outside. And
then within that light energy is ultimate truth.
Yeah.
And that's where you go. And that's what at least at some level, at the level that I'm at with this book, you recognize what ultimate truth is. And then once you start living that way, then you are called a man of the Tao, an integral universal being, which is the same beings that come and visit us here.
Whoa.
And they're
That's a high title, man.
Well, that's what they are. That's what the download was all about in 2015. This is connecting this up so
Wow.
people understand.
Yeah. I really see it now.
Yeah.
I really see it now.
That's what I'm doing.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, this is cool. It's all
I'm
fun.
going to write a book with fart jokes in it.
Well, it's cool. You go with what you know. You've been writing fart jokes since 1975, and I've been studying this stuff since then. So
Speaking of writing, the title of the show is "Find What You Love and Let It Kill You." That's a quote from Charles Bukowski. Chuck, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah, Buck.
Buck or Book.
Buck, yeah.
Yeah, Buck.
Buck.
Bukowski, if you don't know who he was, he's quoted all over the internet these days. Apparently, finally, his genius was discovered. A real raw writer. He would send out original manuscripts of incredible stuff without even making a carbon copy of them back in the 60s.
Yeah.
And just amazing stuff. He was kind of in some light, he was a bitter old drunk guy that worked at the post office. And then one of my favorite Bukowski quotes, he goes, "There's nothing uglier than four men in a car." He was quite the observationist, and he had a bit of a tainted view. But so many of his poems at the very end, or somewhere along the lines, there was a redeeming beam of love expressed.
Yeah, you get that in Bluebird. And
Yeah, Bluebird.
Yeah. And
I try to write that way too.
yeah. It's you sent me the movie. What's his name?
Lucky?
Lucky. Yeah.
Harry
yeah.
Dean Stanton?
Harry Dean Stanton. Yeah. Harry Dean Stanton reads Bluebird.
Yes, he
Find
reads
that.
it wonderfully.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, and that's. Did we cover that last week? There's a.
I don't know.
It's worth repeating. If you have the YouTube service, or you have access to YouTube, and you can come out from behind the outhouse you live in, YouTube actually is for free. They're giving away Harry Dean Stanton's last movie, which is called Lucky, and it's a David Lynch film. It's actually John Lynch, his brother, but David Lynch is in it, and it is a very poignant, loving story. This guy. He's a real man. He's a real American dude. He did the American thing. He lived with a level of introspection, but also, a dose of sad sack and a bit of realism too. I mean, the character is just stunning, and I thought so anyway. A lot of people will go, "What do you think is stunning, Lou? You're out of your mind." So. But anyway, that's Lucky. Read some Bukowski. Bukowski has a great book out called Women, which is the bitter guy's point of view.
Hey, I found my Charles Bukowski.
You found it? Which one?
It's the one that he posted on his fan page on the landing page.
Okay.
Back in 2016. And this is most of this is written by Harry Dean Stanton. I just kind of organized it a little bit, but it goes. Harry Dean was a great Taoist, by the way. He was a follower of the way. But it goes, most normal people avoid intensity, like the old haiku, old pond, frog jumps in, splash. We think we are in control of our lives, but we're not. The key is not to be still and knowing, but to be still being and not to know. There is no knowing, there is no self, so be still. Wait a minute, let me call you to see if I'm still there. Ring, ring, ring. Hello? There's no peace in me. I'm burning for you, like I'm walking in the devil's shoes. Click. Silence. Silence is a very powerful statement. It's how we let go. Real love is when we are not attached. Fear of loss is everywhere. Too many are afraid of death. We all want freedom from that fear. It's when you don't give a fuck about dying when you start living. Life is a risky business. It's transient, ultimately unimportant. That's what's liberating. All one connected everything. I'm nothing. When one is nothing, one's got no problems. It's the same old song. It's both right and wrong. We're so alone. I feel like I'm going home. Everybody evolves in their own way. If I fall, dear Lord, who cares? How will I be remembered? Harry, there are no mistakes. It does not matter how we are remembered. We all have to find our own truth in life. Nonetheless, the life of a repo man is always intense.
Ah, yeah. Yeah.
So if I read, that's the one I'll read at the...
Nice. Yeah. Repo Man, another great film.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have spent another nearly an hour with the imho.love show. In my humble opinion, .love. I'm Lou Angelwolf. That's Mike Murburg. Here we are at Area 52. Please like, share, subscribe, send it to friends. Whatever you do. If you need to fill up a file with nothing, put this in it. I don't know what to tell you to do with it. But you're welcome to use it. You're welcome to repeat it. We own none of it. Although, if you do read my poem, I'd like you to say it's from me. That's all. You all have a great week. I got to move and stuff this week coming up. I got things to lift, and I got big shows coming up over in Margaritaville in Daytona. I'm doing the big nightclub over there, and
It's going to be Oktoberfest, isn't it?
I got some nice country club stuff coming up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We say often here on the show, use your head, trust your gut, and your heart will take you home. It's the imho.love show. And thank you so much for tuning in and sharing. Thanks for the stuff everybody sends me throughout the week. And let's see who's left here at the end. There's Mark Cottingham, buddy. Oh, love you too, pal. And Gans. Hey, Gans. Love you, bro. You get out of Facebook jail, you little criminal. John Sylvester, Laura Ann, hello. Oh, New York's getting the chemtrails too. Laura Ann, Donna Hobbs, hey. Donnie Chamberlain, all right, nice. Love all you guys. Thank you so much for listening in. And I guess Nanette gets out of Facebook jail soon. She's a wild one. And Sue and Suzette. And y'all be good. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week. Good night.